Good afternoon, everybody. It is Monday, March 14th, 2022, and the S&P 500, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and the NASDAQ all sold off today. The VIX caught a little bit of a bid, so what I want to talk about today is sometimes in the market, you don't have to do anything. You just have to sit back, relax, and wait for a follow-through day. There very well could be a liquidity event or a liquidity issue, which we will talk about. Obviously, the Chinese commercial paper market is looking really egregious. We've had some information come out of the US government that there could be a possibility for a nuclear war. We'll discuss that. But the one thing I really wanted to reiterate here is that you don't need to be buying stocks all the time. Now, if you're managing an actively managed portfolio, sometimes it's just best to sit on the sidelines and wait for a follow-through day because stocks can go a lot lower than you think. So let's see who we have here. We have Mets fan. Good to see you, my friend. We have Nicholas Persad. Welcome, Nicholas. Happy Monday. We have Joey here. Good to see you, Joey. Hope you are well. We see Community Canners is here. Good to see you. Welcome, everybody. Chris Beeman. Hope you're doing well today. We have Jack. Says hello, everybody. Good evening, Jack. And Vinny Castellano says, good evening, Tom. Maria and I send you our best wishes. Hey, Vinny. Hope everything is well in Staten Island. We are now in Brickell. We just crossed the bridge from downtown Miami. It was raining all day on and off. A little bit of a rainstorm here in Miami, but it is supposed to stop relatively soon. I see Ken here. Says, hey, Tom. Good evening. Welcome, everybody. Todd is here. Says, hello from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. What's up, Todd? Iman says, hello, strangers. I see Sally. I see Jack. Welcome, Chris Beeman. RJ says, hola, Tom from Colorado. Welcome, RJ. I hope you are well. And happy Monday, everybody. Crazy Monday. I was really busy at work today. So the Behind the Street newsletter will be about a day late. So we will have that sent out by tomorrow. I could not get it finished today. There was just too many other things I needed to do. So I apologize for that in advance. Hey, I see Sheila Neal. Says, hello, Tom. Stay safe out there. Thank you, Sheila. Good to see you. I'm Fahad. Says, hi. Hope everybody had a good day. The one and only Cindy Foley is here. Hey, Cindy. Good to see you. So this is the Bank of America Merrill Lynch building on this very dreary night. Aman says, hey, Tom, did you see Action Kid out there? Not yet. Not yet, but hopefully very soon. This is 701 Brickell. I'll give you a shot of the patio here. Audi 1996 is here. What's up, Audi 1996? Good to see you. War Walker says, good night, Tom. I hope you had a great Monday. You survived the monsoons. Yeah, it was raining pretty much all day, War Walker, but I was in the office pretty much all day. So I didn't get too wet. It seems like things are stopping as of now. Which is good. Shannon is here. Says, good Monday evening, Tom. Thank you again for the walk. Good to see everybody. Robert is here. Says, hello, Tom and friends. Brian is here. Says, hello, Tom. Good to see you, Brian. So we are now overlooking the W Hotel, the very famous W Hotel in downtown Miami. We usually start off the streams right under the Thousand Museum, but I was working in one of the office buildings here in Brickell. So we will start the stream here on East 7th Street, and then we will make our way back up. Laytha's here. Says, hello, Tom, and everybody in the chat. Good to see you, Laytha. Shannon is here. The one and only Cindy Foley. Good to see you. Somewhat Knowledgeable Geek says, I lost 55% on Spotify, Tom. That is not good. Yeah, so a lot of those more high beta growth stocks, especially in the type of market that we're in, where interest rates are rising, there's a lot of turmoil out there. The stocks that have the least amount of earnings or the quality of those earnings are not as high. Those are going to be the stocks that get pounded the most. So you could think about any of the stocks that are in those ARK Innovation ETFs, a lot of the, either they're pre-earnings, so these companies don't have any earnings at all. Those are the stocks that are going to get really pounded. So you want to make sure anytime there's a market downturn, you want to stay away from those names, and 9 times out of 10, you'll see a flight to quality. So for example, if you look at Alphabet or Google, even though the stock's down almost 20%, it still has earnings, so it's gone down a lot less than those other growth names that are sometimes down almost 80% or 90%. So pretty crazy market. Things took a big dive today, and things could get a lot worse before they get better. So we'll talk about that tonight. After 40 is here. Hey, After 40, good to see you. Welcome. The one and only British Gray is here. Welcome, British Gray from Tampa, Florida. It's always good to have you here. British Gray, was it raining in Tampa, Florida? Because here in Miami, it was raining pretty much all day. Judy D is here. Welcome, Judy D. Ruby Falcone says, good evening, Tom, mods and all. Welcome, Ruby. It's always good to see you. VM King says, hey, Tom, how are you? I'm doing really good. I'm doing really, really good. How about yourself? Audie says, hello, Tom. I have changed my profile picture, my friend. Very cool. Loving it. So this is, once again, the very top of the W Hotel, right under the Bank of America Tower. Hey, I see FredX says, good evening, Tom and Walkers. FredX, good to see you. We are now on Brickell Avenue, and we are going to be walking further south. Very rarely do we come down here on the streams, but since I was working in one of the offices down here, I think we'll start here, take a little bit of a walk around, and then head back to downtown Miami, right near 1000 Museum. Hey, Randy says, hello, Tom, and everybody from California. Welcome, everybody from Cali. Hope you guys are having a little bit better weather than us. Somewhat knowledgeable guy says, good advice. Thank you, Tom. I'm just going on to Spotify at this point. What choice do I have? I do believe in the company long term. Yeah, so I think one of the things that is, I think a lot of this buy the dip mentality, right? That a lot of new investors have adopted, just buy the dip no matter what. When you're talking about individual stocks, oh, is this like a diagonal crosswalk? That's pretty cool. When you're talking about individual stocks, stocks can go a lot lower than you think. And I'll just give you one example. And we were briefly talking about this in last week's Behind the Street newsletter. In the year 2000, when we had the big tech and telecom boom, there was a big stock. It was a big winner. It was called Cisco Systems. And everybody obviously knows Cisco. And it kept going down and down and down every day. And everybody was like, well, how could it go any lower? It's Cisco. There's no way it's going to go lower. And to this day, Cisco has not made a new all-time record high from its top in the year 2000. So I think it's just important to understand, if you're actively managing a portfolio, just understand that stocks can go a lot lower than you think and stay down. We've been in this environment where central banks and the Federal Reserve has constantly injected liquidity into the markets by buying mortgage-backed securities and buying U.S. Treasuries, as well as keeping interest rates artificially low, that every single dip has been pretty much met with a bid. But it doesn't always need to be like that. So just make sure you're cautious and really just focus on the Fed. Hey, my friend Gregory is here, says good evening. Hey, Gregory, good to see you. Lewis is here, says good evening, Tom and everybody. Hey, Lewis, good to see you. Randy is here. Welcome, Randy. Chris says today was brilliant in Phoenix, a perfect 84 degrees. Loving that. Hey, D is here, says traffic very busy for this time of evening. Yeah, I think it's probably a lot of people are back in the offices now, on top of, I think it's spring break. So a lot of the spring breakers are here in Miami, and there's always a lot of traffic in Miami, so that's a good point. But good to see you, Gregory. Oliviara says, is it cold there? It's a little bit chilly. It's probably about 67 degrees tonight. Probably about 67 degrees. I hope everybody had a good Monday. Hope everybody enjoyed their Monday so far. Jay says hi, good to see you, Jay. Paranormal Witness Girl is here. Says hello, hello. Good to see you, Paranormal Witness Girl. Christopher says, bam, kapow, good to see you, Christopher. And Jay, welcome. So let's cross the street. Very rarely do we walk on this side of Brickell Avenue. So I really want to check out what's underneath 801 Brickell. I think the rain and the wind is just starting to pick up once again. This is 801 Brickell. I believe MasterCard is here. Ruby Falcone says, Tom, 67 degrees. Sounds fantastic. Lewis says, Monday's been great. Just finishing work for today. Well, that's good to hear that. Monday was, it was a busy day for me today. Not the best day, but we got to keep trugging along. The Swan is joining us from Ireland. Good to see you, the Swan, as always. Hope you're having a good one. Roy S. What's up, Roy? Says, hey, Tom and mods. Should be fresh now after the rain. Well, supposedly the rain's supposed to stop tonight. Lather says 67 degrees sounds low. Here says, good evening, Tom. Interesting paper I read. People are more likely to think negative trends, stock prices go down, as opposed to positive trends will continue. This is JA. Yeah, I mean, that's a interesting point. I think it all goes back to human psychology for sure. But Jay, what do you think about this inversion of the yield curve that we're probably going to get relatively soon? But it's good to see you, JA. All the major US indices were down in the negative today. I'm not sure what this is. It may be some type of restaurant. Hey, Faith is here. What's up, Faith? Hope you had a good Monday, Faith. Welcome. Faith is just coming back from the one and only Paris. So hope you had a good time. The investigators has walks on Wall Street. Apple's supplier suspended operations in China today. Good thing you purchased your mic. Yeah, so I do have the mic, but I still don't have that little adapter thing, which is a little bit of a bummer. But yeah, I mean, to your point, the investigator, one of the biggest, I think, headwinds to this market is if we ever get into a predicament where China invades Taiwan, you know, it's going to be met with significant ramifications to the United States, because if we look at the Russia situation, very little economic between Russia and the United States. But if you think about China, I mean, our entire economy quite literally is subsidized by the Chinese. So that is definitely something to consider. And if we ever get into a spat with China, it probably is not going to be good. Hey, Gregory says, Tom, I'm just chilling after some exams, university life. Well, I hope your exams went well, my friend. I'm wishing you all the best. This place looks awesome here. It's almost like a lot of the tables are on top of this bird's nest looking thing. Laytha says, the U.S. is so dependent on Chinese manufacturing, and it is our fault. Agreed, Laytha. Fantastic point. Someone says, I took a walk in my neighborhood at 7 p.m. in Whitestone/Bayside, Queens area. A bit cooler than about 50 degrees. Nice, you got an iced latte at the end, very cool. Well, 50 is not bad. 50 is not bad, especially in New York terms. So that's awesome. So let's see what the front of this looks like here. Lewis says, Tom, did you send out the Behind the Street newsletter tonight? So I did not send out the newsletter tonight, everybody. I do apologize. Today was extremely busy for me. I literally just finished work all of 15 minutes ago when I started the stream. So I will have the newsletter out tomorrow. Street newsletter yet. It is a free financial newsletter I send out every week. If you type !news, NEWS, in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link and I'll have it out tomorrow night. So check out all these palm trees here. Beautiful location. Mister, good to see you. Robert, welcome, my friend. Hey, Evelyn says, I'm located exactly in Santa Cruz, Bolivia. I can be in Miami in 8 hours by jet. Wow, awesome. Well, hopefully you can come back to Miami soon, my friend. Sebastian is here, says, hey, Tom, what's up, Sebastian? Lewis says, Tom, don't worry. We will wait on the newsletter. So guys, check out this thing. This thing is pretty crazy. It seems like all of the tables at this restaurant are elevated on this platform/podium here. Hey, Dutchman is here. Says, hey, Tom, another beautiful night. with the Tominator. What's up, Dutchman? I hope your Monday was going well. We have Adam S here. Good to see you, Adam S. Well, I hope everybody had a good start to the week. Hey, Melee is here. Says, hey, Tom and chats. Good evening. Good to see you. Yeah, Layla, it's almost like a treehouse type looking thing. Very unique, very interesting. Hey, Mister is here. Says, sup, Tom. Good to see you, Mister. Hope you are having a good day. Hey, Rob DeCaro says, hello from Connecticut. Good to see you, Rob DeCaro. Hey, the Charlie Roll says, hi, I'm listening to the stream while working out. Awesome, Charlie. Please enjoy your workout. So, Charlie, what we were going to talk about today is just to reiterate the fact that we are in a bear market. So the NASDAQ 100 is down over 20%. We are in a solidified bear market. So if you're running an actively managed portfolio, be careful of trying to so-called catch a falling knife, because stocks can continue to go lower more than you would ever expect. You know, you think about some of the stocks like Square, like PayPal, these things have been getting hammered and continue to get hammered. You know, there's an old saying, once there's a bear market, the fundamentals go right out the window. So just be apprised on that, and we will sit back, wait for the follow-through day. Hey, Mister's here. Good to see you, Mister. Welcome. Faith says, okay, wow, the views. I don't think we've ever been on this part. It seems like almost everything may be a little bit closed or closing. It is quite late. But check out all of these brand new high-rise apartments here. Hey, Bernie Williams is here. What's up, Bernie? Good to see you. Hey, Jose Colon says US should be more independent on goods, but China is very dependent on UE and US for trade for their economy. Yeah, so to your point, one of the interesting things that I've been noticing, essentially our way of life is subsidized from the Chinese. You know, we buy all of their goods, so if at any point China wanted to cut us off, it would not be good, and that's why I'm so concerned about the possibility of China invading Taiwan. Although I think it's pretty unlikely that that'll happen, I think if it does, you know, we could see significant ramifications and exacerbate the supply chain shortage as well as semiconductor shortage that we have so far. Because if you think about it, Taiwan Semiconductor is a major semiconductor company. So if there's any sort of spat between the Chinese and Taiwan, it could get a little bit, let's just say, not ideal. Hey, Jerry Covey says, happy Pi Day. Happy Pi Day, everybody. Bernie Williams, good to see you as always, my friend. JA says, everybody is talking about which countries are dependent on each other, etc. I mean, mass interconnection between countries is kind of the point of globalization. Very inefficient otherwise, says Jay. That's a good point. That's a good point. But Jay, I also think, you know, the United States, we have such fertile farmland here that I think we could pretty much self-sustain. The only thing is we've exported all of our manufacturing jobs overseas. But, I mean, in terms of food and energy, I mean, we could drill enough oil here to self-sustain. I mean, we were energy independent at one point, but it's interesting. I think all the kids are coming out of school here. We've been having these on and off rain showers all day. Jason says, are you moving to Florida like Action Kid or just visiting? So I will be spending 50% of my time in New York City and 50% of my time here in Miami. So I bought an investment property about 4 months ago, and I will be splitting my time for my work. Hey, Chris says, today I had a small sliver of cherry pie at work. Love that. But Jason V123, it's good to see you, my friend. Thank you for joining. Hey, Western Mass Dave, what's up? Happy Monday, Dave. Good to see you. Days Work says, what's up, Tom? Good to see you, Days Work. James Tigers says, hi, Tom, from Sweet Home Chicago. You know, I got to get some time to check out Chicago. I haven't been there. I would really, really like to check it out. But good to see you, James. Sam Pod says, hi, everybody. Good to see you. Jason FTO says, I'm here. Good to see you, Jason. Welcome. Cynthia Beal. Hey, Cynthia. Good to see you. We are walking now in Miami's financial district. We just passed the Bank of America Tower and we are headed southbound. Mister, it's good to see you. Welcome. So this is a pretty cool facade here. Hey, Vicky Cortez. What's up, Vicky? Says, hey, Tom, good to see you again. Nice to see you again too, Vicky. Always appreciate you joining the streams. Hey, Melee is here. Says, good evening, Tom, from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Love it. Good to see you. Evelyn says, isn't New York near Canada? Yes, New York does border Canada. Hey, Daddy Bog says, evening to all. Welcome. Oh, so I think this is the Salt guy. Remember, I think he's a very famous guy on social media with his steak restaurants. I think this is it right now. Dutchman says, Tom, are the Fed's going to raise interest rates tomorrow and by how much? So I think we are finding that out. Good question, by the way. I think we're going to find that out on Wednesday. So tomorrow is Tuesday. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. It's starting to rain again already. We may have to take some cover here. But we're going to find that out. We're going to hear from the FOMC on Wednesday. And supposedly they're going to raise interest rates. We're leaning towards 50 basis points. Jason will, I understand. Yep. Got you, Jason. Jason Will says, shouldn't you stay less than 183 days in New York to avoid? Yes. But it really just depends on the business. So if my clients need me in New York more than 183 days, I have to do what's right for my clients and my customers. But you are 100% right. 100,000% right. Elon Musk is here. Good to see you, Elon Musk. Hey, Sean Slaughter says, by the way, I'm new here. Hey, Sean, good to see you. Thank you for joining. Denise says, hello from Brooklyn, New York. Good to see you, Denise. We got another Tesla here. So from here, if you guys look all the way in the distance, you could see Brickell. And this is actually where I was working today before we started the stream. Wooster says, Powell definitely said 0.25. Yeah, and I think that's almost like nothing. It's almost like doing nothing, to your point, Wooster. You know, I think to make any meaningful impact, you're going to need to hike the interest rate 5%, which is not going to happen. There's no way, due to all the geopolitical conflict and such things like that, I really don't think, you know, they're going to be able to do that. But the number one thing that we need to watch Reserve's balance sheet, and in last week's Behind the Street newsletter, I gave everybody a link to the Federal Reserve's balance sheet where you could watch it in real time. So Fed Chair Jerome Powell repeatedly virtue signals to the market that they are going to start to unwind their behemoth $8 trillion balance sheet of mortgage-backed securities and U.S. Treasuries. But if we actually look at the balance sheet, it's been growing, not contracting. So I think it's going to be extremely difficult for them to unwind that balance sheet, especially in times like we have now with this whole Russia situation going on. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Hey, Fredex, as you see the Tesla and don't even recognize the Ferrari or Bentley, you're killing me, Smalls. Yeah, I think that was a Rolls-Royce and a Ferrari back there as well, to your point. But I kind of like Tesla. Teslas are growing on me. Hey, Shadow Ship is here. Good to see you, Shadow Ship. Welcome. Barry J says, good to see you, Tom. Happy Pi Day. I've dropped my 401k contributions down to 1% for a little bit. I'd like to stop the bleeding. Good to see you, Barry J. Yeah, we were just talking about if you're actively managing a portfolio, right? It's different than a retirement account where maybe you're dollar cost averaging into the S&P 500 or something like that. But we were just talking about, you know, stocks could go a lot lower, and we could also turn around and rally right back up. But I think we need to watch for that follow through day. So point out is it's very important to pay attention to how companies react after their earnings reports. And we've actually been getting decent reports out from a lot of these companies, but they've been getting clocked after hours. So you could have a great report by Alphabet, a great report by ServiceNow, the stock gaps up 10% and it fades. And that is very indicative of a bear market or bear market activity. We had Coupa Software, ticker symbol COUP, report after hours. That stock got leveled about 20% after hours in the negative. Hey, I see Talvish here. Welcome, Talvish. Says, hey, Tom, good to see you. It's good to see you too, Talvish. Hope you're having a good day. Stephanie Monster says, hi. Good to see you, Stephanie. Emilio J says, Tom, Powell has been a massive disappointment. I don't see this inflation ever being addressed adequately. Well, I think I have to agree with you. I don't think the Federal Reserve I think their plan is to continue to inflate. Evelyn says, I'm trying to erase everything. Elon Musk says, Tom, is China more powerful than the US? I think it just depends on how you define more powerful. In an economic powerhouse, I don't think so. Hey, Jimmy Anderson is here. Welcome, Jimmy, on this very rainy night we have here in Miami. Stephanie Monster says, good to see you too. Thank you. JQG Atlas says, hey, Tom and chat. Oh, that's a nice husky dog right there. Hey, Steve says, hey, you gave me a shout out yesterday and it was the highlight of my life. Hopefully it's warmer today than yesterday, although it's raining now. Hey, Steve. That's awesome, man. We appreciate you being here. We're walking around the financial district near FIU, Florida International University. So this is what it looks like towards downtown Miami. Hey, Mimi, says, Tom, just saw a new about Greenship, just saw a news article about Evergrande again. Got stuck near Baltimore. Interesting. Crazy. Oh, Evergreen. Oh, this thing that was stuck in the Suez Canal. Crazy. That's funny. Hey, Samsung is here. Says they are the more powerful. They send us stuff. We send them paper. Agreed. Yeah. So Samsung, I think, has the comment of the night so far. That's the comment of the night. Yeah, so Samsung, we were just talking about how, here, let me try to wipe the camera. We were just talking about how essentially the American way of life. You know, they own a lot of US debt, which I think they're going to try to unwind. And we buy all of their products and services and we send them pretty much nothing. So, very good, but unfortunate point. So this is the JW Marriott Hotel here in Miami. Sam Pod says, Tom, you know nothing about oil. Yeah, not too much. Good to see you, Sam Pod. Atomic Skittles says, hey, Tom, camera has some glare on it. I think from the rain. Yeah, I think we're gonna have a little bit of camera quality problems tonight. Kim Grant is here. Hey, Kim, good to see you. Melee says, China is very powerful in artificial intelligence, facial recognition, and data tracking. Yeah, so Melee, there's a really good book by Kai-Fu Lee. So Kai-Fu Lee actually used to be the president of Google China during the tech and telecom boom. And now he is since retired and he runs a venture capital firm called Sinovation Ventures. So if you want to read his book called AI Superpowers, he outlines in detail the rise of Chinese tech companies. But I think the biggest threat, and I think China would be doing a lot better than they are now, is if they had a more capitalistic free market system like we have in the United States. You know, I've always said if China goes full free market capitalism, more along the lines of what we have here in the United States, I think they would be well ahead of the US. So if you guys want to read that book, if you type !Kai-Fu, definitely the Nightbot will drop an interview by Kai-Fu Lee, which is the former president of Google China, and he now runs Sinovation Ventures, which is a venture capital firm that solely invests into Chinese artificial intelligence and machine learning startups. Hey, Sean is here. Good to see you, Sean. Photos from around New York. Welcome. Sam Pod says, Tom, I meant to say, what do you know about the oil? Well, I think oil is short-term extended here. But I think if oil corrects to its 200-day moving average and the 50-day moving average, maybe we could see another leg higher. But I think any move higher is pretty decent for profit-taking opportunities. But look at ticker symbol CL. That is the crude oil futures contract, ticker symbol CL. And let me know what you think. What do you guys think? You think we're going to see higher oil prices or lower oil prices? Barry J, good to see you. Hey, Mount Up 716 says blizzard yesterday, 49 degrees today in Buffalo. Mother Nature is bipolar. Nice as well to look at the warmth, Tom. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of bipolar here too in Miami. It's been raining all day. English is here, says hello bro, what's up? Good to see you. Devon Avery is here, says good evening. What's up, Devon Avery? Good to see you. Robert says, Tom, if all of China was like Hong Kong, they would be the greatest, most powerful country of all time. I actually have to agree with you. I think I'm going to have to agree with you. Check out this building here. This is 1221. I think this is, I forget which street this is. Jason Will says $140 a barrel for oil is the top. I think there will be a massive drop after that, says Jason Will. Yeah, so, I mean, we've had a correction in the crude oil futures. Also, another thing I like to track is the XLE. And we were writing about this. I wrote a short piece about this in last week's Behind the Street newsletter. I said if you own a lot of these big energy positions, if you're long oil and gas, if you're long the XLE, I think any sort of bid here is pretty good for profit taking because a lot of this stuff is extended and everybody's talking about it in the media about gas prices, oil and gas stocks. So it's probably a good time to at least, you know, for some healthy profit taking. Melee says President Biden called the Saudis and they didn't return his call. They have no respect for our president. Yeah, so did you guys hear Trevor Noah's thoughts on that? So Trevor Noah is a famous comedian and he had some comments on that as well. It is unfortunate that it happened. It seems like we're not respected as much. Hey, retired Florida guys here. Tom, please explain to this old trader, why do young people in your age group trade so heavily in meme stocks and crypto and fantasy companies versus solid companies with proven returns? Yeah, so Florida guy, I think it's a multifaceted issue. And the only thing I could say is when you look at a lot of these new broker dealers that are coming on the market, so for example, the Robinhoods, the Webull of the world, they're sort of marketing to the target audience of the Generation Z and the millennials to sort of gamify investing. And I think that's really disingenuous by those companies. But then again, brokers, their main job is to get their clients to trade, right? Because when they trade, that generates commission revenue and it generates revenue for something that's called payment for order flow. So a lot of these new startup broker dealers like Robinhood and Webull, they can offer free commissions because they're selling your order flow to quantitative and high frequency trading shops on Wall Street like Two Sigma and Citadel. So really nothing is for free. So if you've ever been on Robinhood, which I think is a horrible, horrible platform, anytime you buy and sell a stock, there's confetti and balloons blowing around and they sort of promote this gambling-like mentality. And I think over the long term, it's going to lose people a lot of money. So that's my thesis on it. I'd be interested to see what you think, but that's sort of my thesis. Hey, Thiago says Brazil Bank. Yeah, so this is supposedly called the Latin America Wall Street here. Here, check out this building. Hey, Steve is here, says cheers from Columbia, Georgia. Wishing I was in Miami right now. So this is Brickell Avenue, and I think 12th Street. Thiago says, yeah, Tom, something like this. Good to see you. Mimi says, I think other brokerage firms do the same thing to sell retail data to investors. Some of them do. I think Charles Schwab does that too. But don't get me wrong. I think payment for order flow is actually a good thing, right? Because back in the day, you used to pay $50 each way in commission, but I think it's been a negative for retail investors because now they think that they should just trade all the time and buy all these meme stocks and other junk like that. But yeah, it's definitely not teaching good habits at all. Wow, check this out. I don't think we've ever been here before. Hey, Santo is here. Says, good evening. Good to see you, Santo. Welcome. British Gray says, beautiful view of Miami. So British Gray, when's the last time you were in Miami from Tampa? Photos from around New York says, Tom, all U.S. market indices are up and oil futures are down. Barry J says, we all remember companies with proven returns like AIG. Bingo. Yep. That was during the debacle of 2008. Everything had to get bailed out. Hey, Western Mass Dave says, yes, it looks like an area we have not been to. We've had a stretch of really bad weather here in Miami. And in New York, too. Creek Cove 3 says, Tom, will you name a good dividend stock? So there's an old saying on Wall Street that the only good stock is a stock that goes up. And I would say be very, very careful investing in the companies that only are good for their big dividend yields, because those tend to be companies that are actually about to go out of business. So if you're looking at like one of these oil companies that produce an 8% to 10% dividend yield, those stocks are probably not in growth mode and could potentially go out of business. Just look at like an AT&T that has a crazy dividend yield, but that stock has had negative returns for like a decade now. Hey, Miguel Garcia is here. Good to see you, Miguel. Welcome. British Gray says, I've never been to Miami-Dade County. Wow. But Cove Creek, to your point, here's something I'd like to note. And so everybody, I was going to send out the Behind the Street newsletter tonight. I got caught up in work, so I will send it out tomorrow. So if you're interested in reading a free newsletter that's written by me, if you type !news, NEWS in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link to the newsletter. But I think it's important that we look for the leaders in the market. And right now, the companies that are leading the market are stocks or companies like Church & Dwight. And Church & Dwight is a company that sells toothpaste, toilet paper, and other necessary items. So if a lot of Wall Street money managers are pouring money into those type of names, what does that really tell you about the health of the overall market? To me, it signals that a lot of economists and Wall Street money managers are betting on a recession. Because what is the last thing that people buy or that people stop buying? The last thing that people stop buying are toiletries, medicines like Tylenols, also toothpaste. Even though if we have a raging recession, you're still going to need to brush your teeth. You're still going to need to buy soap and wash your hands and things like that. So just keep that in mind as they're doing crazy construction down here. Hey, Sam Potts says, Tom, pipeline companies pay good dividends and are poised for growth. Interesting. Cove Creek 3 says, thanks for the good insight. No problem. Jerry says, Tom, $10 toothpaste. Yikes. So they are doing so much construction here. Yeah, somebody said like Procter & Gamble. Yeah, like a Procter & Gamble. I believe Church and Dwight, their ticker symbol is CHD. So this is the HSBC Bank right here, but we're not going to go down any further because the weather is horrible. We're actually going to walk down here and turn upwards. Gilbert says, hi Tom, good to see you. By the way, AT&T, the yield was cut to 4% last month. Yikes. Yeah, Gilbert. So another point, you know, a lot of the times people can get suckered in by these really high dividend yields. And then when we turn into a downturn in the economy, these companies start slashing their dividend yield. So the thing that you really wanted in the first place is now gone. So just be careful of getting too enticed by the dividend yield. Just be careful on that. But it's good to see you too, my friend. Christina says, Tom, what is going on with the construction? So I think they're building all new crosswalks here in the financial district, upgrading the streets. And I think they're also launching a $1 billion sort of upgrade plan to fight all of the flooding. Hey, David is here. Hey, David. Bernie Williams says, Tom, speaking of construction, what are your thoughts on the Keystone Pipeline? Well, I think they shut that down, didn't they? Didn't they shut that down entirely? I think they put a kibosh to that. Hey, Dutchman says the smudge marks are awesome looking. Yeah, I apologize for the camera quality tonight, everybody. It is a quite gross night out. Hey, we see Matthew P. says, hello, Tom, old chap. Good to see you, Matthew P. I hope you had a great Monday. Dolly Girl Twins. Good to see you, Dolly Girl Twins. So here we are outside of the Metro Mover station in the financial district right here in Miami. And I think the rain is just starting to pick up a little bit more. So we will head to the right, or up and to the right, more towards Mary Brickell Village so we can walk around and take some cover. Hey, the ABX girl says, yes, this is true. Good to see you, ABX girl. Bernie Williams is like, Tom, I thought it got like 8% built. Hey, the Trinity Travel is here. This is first. Good to see you. The ABX girl, hope you had a good day so far. Yeah, no, Bernie Williams, please ask about it. I'm just not too well versed in the pipeline. I think they shut it down though. But check out this building. I think this is one of my favorite buildings in Miami in terms of architecture. Sam Pod says, Tom, the Keystone XL pipeline was canceled by Obama, approved by Trump, and then canceled again by Biden. Got it. Hey, David says, if you go into Brickell, you have to go to Perkins. I'll check it out. Hey, Steve is here, says, Tom, we are all waiting for Tom to get a drink at one of those bars. Yeah, so check out this place as the rain starts to come down here. Hey, Dolly Twin says, hey, Tom, is there a severe storm headed your way? I don't know if it's going to be severe, but it was raining almost all day and very windy. It's been windy and rainy for, I would say, the past 3 or 4 days here in Miami, on and off. Steve says, no, it's just passing. So if you guys are enjoying the stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video. And I'll give you another view of more uptown. There's a ton of high-rises being built here in downtown Miami. Melee says, Tom, did you hear that New York City is planning to restore rent control due to the very high rent, which people can't afford? You know, I think rent control, and that'll be a topic for another stream because I know we're going to go down a massive rabbit hole. I think the rent control is going to make things a lot worse. But that's just my opinion. So everybody, check out the architecture on this SLS Residences here. Hey, Elizabeth is here. Says, hey, Tom. Hey, Elizabeth. We're in a little bit of a rainstorm here in Miami. David says rent control already exists in New York City. I think in some buildings they're rent control, others are not.
What are you doing?
Huh?
What are you doing?
Oh, we do like a live show on YouTube. It's called
Can I be in it?
It's called Walks on Wall Street. So we walk around New York City and Miami, and we do like a live podcast every night. We talk about like finance.
So you're live?
Yeah, we just go live and for about like an hour
Live
or two
from
a day.
Miami.
Yeah.
Cool. Just
Awesome.
curious. Okay.
Awesome. Have a good one. Yeah. Yeah, I think the rent control is gonna be pretty bad, honestly. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of there's already rent control in New York City. There is, but I think it's only in select buildings. So here's something that's a little weird. My last building that I was in New York was, it was something really strange. I think there's actually an article about it in the New York Post. There is one unit in the building that is rent controlled. And so there's a person in that building that's paying like $300 a month for rent when everybody else is paying like $2,000 or $3,000 a month in rent. It's really bizarre, and I'm not sure how that even happened, but it did. Day's work. Jared Covey says spring break. Yeah, I think there's spring break is lasting all the way to next week, right? Shadow Ship is here. Good to see a Shadow Ship. Emilio J, welcome. Bernie Williams says danger zone. Retired Florida guy. Yeah, I'm not interested in that, to be honest. But I get it. Melee says you were correct. Yeah, so I was in, my old building was 106 Central Park South. And the rents were insane. But I was very lucky and fortunate to be able to get very low rent due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But there's a lady in the building that is paying $300. Kind of crazy. Mona D says, hey, good evening, everybody, and Tom. Good to see you on this very blustery night in Miami. Good to see you, Mona. Cynthia Beal says, many landlords try to buy out or push rent controls out. Correct. Hey, Mike S is here. Says, hey, Tom. Hi from the Bronx. Mike, are you unloading the trailer? Usually, every night when we stream, Mike is in the Bronx, either filling up his trailer or unloading it. But Mike S, we have a lot of stuff to look forward to this week. We're going to hear from the National Association of Realtors today. We are also going to hear from the Federal Reserve and the FOMC, Federal Open Market Committee, on Wednesday. Mike says you're waiting. Yeah, photos from around New York says, I just hope something gets done to make New York City more affordable. So you know what was a very good idea, and I think this is already being done, but somebody sent me an email because I think we had a dedicated topic talking about the high rental prices in New York. And so if you think about the financial district, or FIDI as they call it now, a lot of the old investment banks down there, a lot of the broker dealers on Wall Street, they've since migrated to Park Avenue after 9/11 So a lot of these old vacant apartment buildings are actually being turned into rental places or apartments. But the only thing is they're turning them into luxury apartments where the rents are like $3,000 a month. So I think that as we move into more of a hybrid work environment, I would like to see a lot more real estate developers developing non-luxury units, but more affordable housing units. Hey, Hemp Lord says, good evening, workaholics. Good to see you, Hemp Lord. We are waiting to cross the street here. Hey, Tomislav says, how much percent of people and companies have American private property? Could you rephrase that question, Tom? I'm not too sure. Sir Pank says, Tom, do you think there will be a default in Russia? I think it's very possible. I think it's very possible. Check out the credit default swaps. Ryan's World of Gaming says, how come you in Miami and not New York? So I'm splitting my time about 50-50 between New York and Miami, mainly for work. I think we got to press the button. Oh, the button doesn't work. For work. So I have a lot of my clients in New York, but a lot of my clients are actually migrating down to Florida, believe it or not. Melee says, yes, I agree. The young professionals shouldn't have to pay so much rent. It's crazy. Bernie Williams says, Tom, realtors won't let go of that profit. Western Mass Dave says, Tom, I think of Russian default is coming soon. Yeah, and I think if Russia has a big default, I think there could be a massive liquidity shock or a liquidity crisis, in which that case there could be a big pan sell-off. So I actually retweeted, there's somebody on Twitter, I forget his name, posted a really good sort of write-up or a thread on that. So if you guys want to see that, if you want to follow Walks Wall Street on Twitter, and look at the second to last tweet that I retweeted, and it explains in detail the possibilities for a Russian default scenario. And also, I'll go into a little bit in this week's edition of Behind the Street, explaining the Chinese commercial paper market and how horrible that may be. Hey, Han K says, hey Tom, I am looking to buy an investment property as well in the future and am currently saving. Not sure when yet. What are some tips that you have that you're looking for? What are some tips you have that you would give to somebody looking to do similar? Yeah, so Han K, here's what I will say. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. But don't be in a hurry, right? Don't be in a rush. So it took me 5 years, looking on the market for 5 years before I bought my first investment property. And one of the biggest things that is very concerning that I'm seeing in this real estate market right now is everybody is falling over themselves to buy a deal. Okay, there's literally a house on every corner in America, literally. So if you lose a deal, don't worry about it. All the money in real estate is made at the purchase. Remember that. All the money in real estate is made at the buy. So don't play into this game where you're going over ask and going into a bidding war with all these other people, because I can guarantee you're not going to make any money that way. So what I would do is run the numbers. It doesn't matter if it takes you 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. In order for you to close on a property, make sure you're getting a good deal in a good location on your terms. Okay, if the buyer doesn't have favorable terms for you, well, there's a zillion other houses on the market that you could look at. And I know that we have historically low inventory right now, but in a year or two, that's going to change, right? So I would always be actively looking for deals all the time, but don't feel the need that you need to overpay for a property or get into a bidding war with somebody. That would be my biggest piece of advice. Keep a level head, don't buy with emotion, and always run the numbers on your deal. Is the deal going to cash flow? When is the property going to cash flow? And how much money are you going to make? That's sort of the advice I would give. Hey, Jason Willis here. Good to see you, Jason. Says, I think timing is better than getting a good deal. If you had overbought 5 years ago, it would have been better. This is Jason Will. Good to see you, Jason. Hey, Alan Wilson is here. Hey, Alan. Says, happy Monday evening, everybody. Good to see you. Steve says, do you think the housing market is going to go back down, especially in places like Miami? I think anything is possible. But I don't think we will have a 2008 style moment, because if you get into the nitty gritty about 2008, and we've sort of talked about this ad nauseum on the channel, what caused the 2008 financial crisis, and I know there's a lot of political BS that went into that as well, but it was the investment banks allowing people that couldn't afford the mortgage to get a loan. You know, people with no credit scores, very low credit scores, very low incomes. This is a beautiful lobby, by the way. And the number one thing is adjustable rate mortgages. A lot of these people were swindled into getting adjustable rate mortgages, where once the Federal Reserve raised rates, well, these people got hammered, because when they opened up their mortgage statement and they were planning on paying $2,000 a month, now they're paying $2,500 and everybody defaults at the same time. Right now, there is a more quality buyer. The underwriting standards at a lot of these banks are a lot better. So I don't think we'll have a massive default situation, but I do think we could have a normal real estate market correction. And that's why I think don't over leverage. Don't put like the 3% down on the deal if you don't have enough cash flow to back yourself up. Make sure you have a solid down payment if you want to play it safe. Hey, Western Mass Dave says, you nailed it, Tom, for the cause of the 2008 fall. Good to see you, Western Mass Dave. Yeah, this is nice fireplace. That was a really nice lobby. I mean, the thing about Miami is, even though they're building a lot of units, the units that they're building are all these luxury buildings. It's kind of crazy. Cynthia Beal says, but Tom, people are paying more for places like Florida and outbidding. Yeah, that's true. But also, one of the things, like one of my buddies is a real estate agent down here, and even though there's bidding wars, a lot of these deals are getting all settled in cash. Hey, Best in Joe is here, says, everywhere I have ever heard of the rent, when they raise it, and it's on you to pay it or move. Jared Covey says, San Francisco leads the country in $1 million homes. Geez, at 89%, New York at 33%. I thought it would be the other way around, but that's surprising. That's an interesting piece of, wow, I was gonna say New York was gonna lead that. Huh. Mimi says, I would buy some good REITs or real estate investment trusts in my 401k account and earn guaranteed compound 2 to 3% dividend, no more. I don't know about guaranteed, but I understand your thesis there. I wouldn't say anything's guaranteed though. Christina says, Tom, you need $54,750 to just basically live in Fort Lauderdale. What do you think? Do you think you need to make 40 times more than your rent if you want to live in Miami? Yeah, well, we were talking about that yesterday, Christina, where a lot of these landlords now, since they've been burned by the COVID-19 pandemic, they are not budging on the rental requirements. So they are oftentimes requiring at least 40 times the rent. They are requiring at least a 750 or greater credit score, which a lot of people don't have. So what's this created is only the people that can afford to move into a nice apartment or buy a home are people that are wealthy, and the middle class people are going to fall to the lower rung of society. And we've been talking about this ad nauseum in the Behind the Street newsletter about how all of this government intervention is only going to benefit the wealthy people and really put a hammer down on the middle class. Because landlords are not budging anymore, which is unfortunate. Enough Experts says, what do you think of M1 Finance? I don't personally use any of those type of apps. in my opinion. The only two brokers that I use are Interactive Brokers and Charles Schwab. I personally do not use M1 Finance, so I can't really advise on it or anything, but Lewis says 40 times. Yeah, so Lewis, we've been hearing some crazy stories out of New York where if you want to have a guarantor on the property, you need to be making 80 times. So your guarantor needs to be making 80 times the rent. How crazy is that? Crystal says, I watched an interesting video here on YouTube talking about how most of the condos on Billionaires Row in New York City are vacant. Well, you're 100% correct. So a lot of the apartments on Billionaires Row, these people from all over the world just buy these properties in order to have a quote-unquote piggy bank in the sky. So you're 100% right. A lot of these buildings sit empty. I think I missed a lot of comments. Let me go back and see if I have any.
What's up, bro?
Hey, how are you? Good to see you, man. Sharon Lee says it's going to change because there's a lot of properties that are pre-foreclosed on right now. And if they're not able to work in the banks, they're going to be in trouble. Yeah, so I was looking at that data as well. But the pre-foreclosures comparison to 2008, excuse me, not comparison to 2008, in comparison to 2019 is actually lower. So a lot of the people that are in pre-foreclosure now or foreclosure is a backlog of all the people that were on the eviction moratoriums and all of these different moratoriums. It's actually lower, which is kind of weird. But you have a very good point there. You have a very, very good point. So I was reading an article about that in the Wall Street Journal. And essentially what they were saying is, even though we're going to get hit with a mini wave of defaults, there's enough demand in the marketplace where people would swoop in and buy those properties. So we'll see. We'll see. Mimi says, I think the crash may be caused by the owners who end up selling the house because they cannot collect rent from the tenant staying in the property for free, says Mimi. That's an interesting thought. That's an interesting thought, and I actually did some investigation about that. So I was listening in on some of the earnings calls of a lot of these big property managers or REITs or real estate investment trusts. And surprisingly, their rent rolls are coming in at about 80% or 85% of people or tenants are actually paying their rent, which is pretty high. And there's some privately owned REITs that have upwards of 90% collection too. Hey, Mohammed is here. Robert Mohammed says, hey, Tom, good to see you this evening. I hope you are well, my friend. I hope you're well too, Mohammed. Arum Z says, Tom, how was the WeWork? The WeWork was really nice. The WeWork was in this building right in front of us. But I think Sharon Lee makes a really good point about the defaults. Really good point.
Why don't we cross that way?
Another challenge is if you sell your home, where are you going to go? You want to bank some money, but your next purchase will make you house poor. So Dolly Twins Girl, I think you may be in the running for a comment of the night too. Girl Twins Point. One of my good friends on Long Island, and I think I've told this story 20 times, so feel free to tell me to be quiet if you want. My friend could sell his property at about a $250,000 profit. The only reason why he's not going to sell his house on Long Island is because he's like, Tom, even if I could sell my house for a $250,000 profit, he's like, where am I going to go? I just have to go right back into the housing market where people are in bidding wars. There's no supply. There's no inventory of homes. So even if I sell mine, I mean, I need some place to live. So that's a good point. So a lot of people right now, even though they have so much home equity and the values of their homes are inflating on paper, you know, they have to sell those homes and then move to another place. And there's a very, very low inventory of homes in America right now. So that's a phenomenal, phenomenal point. Robert Muhammad, good to see you, my friend. Gummy Bear says, have you read Anthony Robbins' books? I've read a couple of them. Hey, Eric is here. So saludos to you, Eric. Miguel says, dang, I'm glad I take care of my credit. I have an 820 score. That's a phenomenal score. I think you have a higher credit score than me. Actually, a much higher credit score than me. So that was one of the reasons why I had a lot of problems getting a loan. Because I don't really have much credit built up. Because I don't use credit cards. I don't have debt. I don't like debt. Mickey says, you're just going to buy an overpriced house elsewhere. Bingo. Ruby says yes, and that is also driving up rental prices too. Temporary housing solution when the home sells so quickly. You're right, Ruby. Gummy Bear says sell your home and get a condo. You know, I'm not a big fan of condominiums, but this is just my opinion at this stage of my life. I don't really want to deal with the HOA fees. I just want to be in control of my own property, but I think maybe when you get a little bit older, perhaps, or something like that, it could be a good idea. Hey, Tito Rodriguez says, Tom, what are your thoughts on house hacking? I love house hacking. That is what I currently do right now. So I either house hack via Airbnb or just have tenants either month to month that are students or something that live in the spare rooms of my house. So I've been dabbling in that a little bit, and it's been very lucrative, especially here in Miami. If I put one of the rooms on Airbnb, the demand is so high, I could fill it almost every single night of the week. And in which case, the property will probably cash flow about $1,000 over the mortgage. Hey, Shiloh is here, says, welcome, Tom, to Florida. Santo says, please hit the like button for Tom's informative talks. Thank you, Santo. Hey, my friend Out and About is here. What's up, Out and About? Says, condos are the worst investment. You have to deal with all the strict rules. That's true. But some people, I guess when you're older, maybe you don't want to deal with all the maintenance yourself. It could be a good idea, but I understand what you're talking about. I think they're called the 55 plus communities. Robert says, what's wrong with debt, Tom? Nothing exists in the world anyway without debt. That's true, but I think from a personal standpoint, I want to keep my balance sheet in ship shape. Sharon says, you should have some credit cards. I have a business credit card, but I just don't really like keeping a balance on it. Hey, Razzle Dazzle says, my credit score is 750, but I'm also 50 grand in debt because of what? Because of college. Got it. Yeah, student loans will get you, but Razzle Dazzle, you have a fantastic career, so I think it's worth it for you. I mean, being an MRI technologist is a great career. You're always going to have a job. So I think that risk-reward ratio is worth it to take on that $50,000 to go into debt, because you have a great career. You have a great job. Good to see you, Razzle Dazzle. Hey, Derek Day says, I see what is happening in real estate as the recovery from the 08 crash. Interesting. Tito Rodriguez says, Tom, which do you prefer, Airbnb or tenants for house hacking? With my lifestyle, I prefer Airbnb because I tend to have to commute back and forth between New York City and Miami, and I would much rather have nobody being at my house when I'm not there. So I think what I'm going to start to do is when I'm here at my home in Miami, I'll rent out the spare bedrooms. That'll cover my mortgage. I'll live for free. And then, you know, maybe during the winters, if I really, really want to crank out the cash flow on the property, you know, just rent it out to some snowbirds from the Northeast or something like that. But I think house hacking is very good when you're young and you don't have a lot of liabilities. So you don't have a kid, you don't have a wife, you don't have a husband, or whatever your situation may be. I really want to try this place. But I think house hacking is good when you're young and when you can make sacrifices. But when you have a wife and kids, or a husband and kids, or something like that, I don't think house hacking is the best, especially if you don't want a stranger living in your house with your kid. Hey, Alex, the 6 train guy, elevator is here, says, hey, good to see you. James Bond says, the sky is always falling by a place. Good to see you, James. Western Mass Dave says, the CEO of Airbnb is opening thousands of locations for Ukrainian refugees. I think that's awesome. JC Novella says, hey there, how about getting into the teeny home bandwagon? I don't know, I've heard about that. JL, our great moderator, says, good evening, Sir Tom. Good to see you, JL. My friend Carolina Tom says, Tom, I have no credit cards and zero debt or mortgage. It is the fundamentals belief that I live in. Yeah, I agree with you, Carolina Tom. But the only thing, I do have one regret though, Carolina Tom, because when I did go to buy my property, the bank gave me an extremely hard time, like a really bad hard time, because I didn't have a big credit history built up. So even though I was very well capitalized, I was making a lot of money, they wouldn't give me the loan unless I would have put 25% down. And I really didn't want to do that. I wanted to lever this property up a lot, mainly because I have the cash flows to make the payment. But they said no deal. They're like, you got to put 25% down or no deal. So due to the fact that I didn't have a credit history, I had to put 25% down on the property. But I think in the long run, it's a better peace of mind because my mortgage is like nothing compared to my rent in New York. So now we are in Mary Brickell Village, everybody. Stephanie says, I live in the forest, so this is really nice. Good to see you, Stephanie. Western Mass Dave says, when I was younger, I screwed up my credit. Now in the mid 800s and keeping it. That's a near perfect score. That's really good. Yeah, Sharon Lee makes a good point, says it's not a good idea house hacking for women homeowners for security reasons. So Sharon, I actually know my old boss, obviously is female, and she house hacks, but there's like an Airbnb, I'm blanking on the term. There's a setting on Airbnb where you can house only women. So all of her tenants are women. So she doesn't have to worry about like guys staying on her property or things like that. Hey, Nicholas Pella says, say hello to Brazil. Welcome everybody from Brazil. Cad Wade says, Tom, how's the property taxes down there? The property taxes down here are a little bit expensive, but I'm coming from Long Island. So, you know, in Long Island, if I were to buy a decent house, I would have to pay about $12,000 a month in property taxes, all the way up to about $15,000. But now, I'm paying about $4,300 a year on property taxes, which is not ideal. Carolina Tom says, Tom, you're younger than me, buddy, and have to do that now. You will evolve to be like me later. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Polo Slim is here, says, what's up, Tom? What is up, Polo Slim? Yeah, Western Mass Dave says, mods are working overtime. I appreciate you guys. I've noticed ever since we had the Russian invasion of Ukraine, there's been a lot of those live cameras, 24/7 like Russian live cameras. So we've been getting a lot of nefarious activity from that. Arum Z says, Tom, it seems like you work pretty long hours. Can I get some advice how to not burn out? Yeah, so burnout happens when you do things that you hate, when something is very laborious and terrible. So you got to make sure you get a job that you actually enjoy, because if you're working a job that you dread, you're not going to want to wake up and go to the job. Right? So a lot of my friends who work in either the investment banking industry and they don't really like it, they tend to burn out pretty easily because they dread going to work. Also, another thing, if you're working really long hours, try to find a hobby that you like to do and make it a routine. So for me, it's doing these live streams. So I'm working about, sometimes 8 to 12 hours a day. And a way for me to relax and build a cool network and do something fun is to stream and talk about the financial markets for 3 hours. But you got to find something that you like to do. So I would just say find something to do that you like. Pineapple Water says, so why not PMI? Not worth it. I did it when I was starting out. So I didn't have any issue doing like PMI, and I believe if you put down less than 20% on a property, you have to take the PMI. but I had to put 25% down on the property so I don't have to deal with the PMI. So it doesn't really apply to me, but I understand what you're saying, Pineapple Water. Hey, Dogman says, Tom, we appreciate your hobby. Always enjoy listening. Thank you, Dogman. Thank you for being here. Ken Dyer says, you're a wise man, Tom. Thank you for being here, Ken. I appreciate it. Hey, Cove Creek 3, thank you for being here. Hey, Sabrina Fair, good to see you. Cove Creek 3 says, yeah, he has a 55% buyer rating and $100 million stock buyback. Do you think it's a strong company? Which company are you talking about? Let me see if I can see. Sunshine Solar City Lights is here. Check out this building, everybody. This looks brand new here. Tina Toomey says, love this hobby. Thank you. If you guys are enjoying the streams, feel free to leave a like on the video. It helps our channel out. And subscribe to the channel if you are new for more live streams around Miami and New York City. Oh, Yeti. I don't think I would invest in the Yeti, in my opinion. But then again, my main thing is enterprise software, because that's something I understand, right? Because I work in tech. I don't really know anything about like the retailing business for Yeti. You know, I sort of live by Warren Buffett's principle and Peter Lynch when they said invest in the things that you know. I know enterprise software, I know tech. I don't know oil and gas, I don't know commodities. Those aren't my thing, so I try to stay away from that. Hey, Storm Chasers. Hey, Tom, long time no see. Hope all's well. Storm Chaser, good to see you too, my friend. We are downtown in Mary Brickell Village. Good to see you. Christina says, Tom, I can't afford Airbnb, so I use the Miami Youth Hostel. The Miami Vice Youth Hostel. Very cool. Nice. Captain Coomer says, can you define enterprise software for us? So any sort of like a company like a Salesforce or an SAP or an Oracle, so any big software company that tends to, you know, sell into large enterprises. So for me, I am in tech sales, but my client base is larger companies. So you could think about a Fortune 500 or something like that with longer sales cycles. So you have SMB, which is small to medium-sized business. You also have mid-market, and you have enterprise, which is long sales cycles and big businesses, where you're selling very complex enterprise software or hardware. Hey, Mansa says, evening, Tom. First time seeing Miami Streets live. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Shasky says, what building did you put down 25% for? It was just it's a legal, it is a legal single family home, but I am rezoning it for a legal two family. Lewis says, Tom, is SAP very competitive in US markets? Yeah, they are, but so here's the issue with those big legacy companies, I like to call. So you have your Oracle and you have your SAP. Oracle has really fallen behind the, I like to say behind the game here when it comes to SaaS or software as a service. So Larry Ellison, he really made a big miscalculation when he said, I don't think software as a service is really going to take off. So now they're totally doing a rehaul at Oracle and trying to really make all of their revenue as a service, so software as a service, which I think they're going to be successful. But that is just something to note. A lot of the old legacy companies were not SaaS-based or as a service, where it is either monthly reoccurring revenue or something like that. Jackie says, pull up to my crib in Brickell Heights. That's a very nice area. Captain Coomer says, is rezoning process hard in Miami? It depends on which local municipality you're in. But I just moved here 4 months ago, so I'm not too keen on everything. Good to see you, Lewis. Welcome. Hey, Mark Berry is here. Welcome. One Time Piece says, Brickell is very nice. Well, thank you for being here. Mike S. says, Tom, gasoline prices will keep me from boating the South Shore of Long Island this summer. Yeah, that's too bad. Well, hopefully things come down. One Time Peace, good to see you. MF Craig says, I'll be 85 in August, so I enjoy having you do the walking and the financial chatter. Milt in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Hey, thank you, Milt. Thank you for being here, and hopefully we see you on more live streams. Gilbert says, Tom, I am 115 miles north of you in St. Port Lucie Club. Golf course, 4,000 taxes to 8,000, but location is fire. Yeah, I think I'm paying about 4,300, but I will say I have to do the homestead exemption. Tito Rodriguez says, any tips on surviving in a big city at a young age? Thinking about moving to Seattle to get a job at a big restaurant. Well, Seattle's a really big tech town too. So I would look into making the transition to tech if you can. I think you'd be really successful. But living in a big city is very, very lucrative, not only for the high-paying jobs, but for the amount of very smart people from all over the world. So I think I would spend all of my time networking. So any spare time you have, I wouldn't spend it watching TV. I wouldn't spend it doing anything else but getting to know really important people in that specific city. Ethan G says, you're standing next to the Music Hope. You don't get copyrighted. I think every video gets copyrighted, but I don't really care about it too much. But thank you for letting me know. Hey, Arsenal Fan 13 says, hey Tom, I hear that Uber is implementing a temporary surcharge for riders. I heard that too, which is kind of crazy. I think the surcharge is to offset the egregious cost of fuel. So kind of crazy. Yeah, Captain says the exception would be watching your YouTube live stream. Yeah, well, I think one of the things that we've done really well on the channel is we've created a Discord where we network for investment banking opportunities, for enterprise software opportunities, if you want to work in healthcare or really anything. So if you want to check out our Discord, it is the link in the description where we can connect offline and talk about all sorts of things like job opportunities. So I think the stream is an extremely great place for networking opportunities. Roy Hess says, my boss is starting to notice that I prefer following your live streams during office hours. Ooh. Well, Roy, I hope he likes the stream. The ABX Girls is not in New York City, so that's actually good then. So does anybody know the laws around doing Uber in New York? Because I take a lot of Ubers on Long Island, and supposedly the Uber drivers on Long Island, they're not allowed, they're not allowed to drive in Manhattan for whatever reason. Santos says networking is the best. I agree. So check out these buildings here. I love the facade, all rainbow colors. Hey, Cad Wade is here. What's up, Cad Wade? A ton of construction in Miami, so much. Yeah, I forgot to turn off notifications in the Discord, so I see when everybody joins. So thank you everybody for joining the Discord. Hey, EBITDA is here. Says, hey Tom, hope you are well. Had a good start to the week. Going to be wild when the Fed speaks later this week. Yeah, EBITDA, we were talking about that today. So EBITDA is talking about the FOMC meeting on Wednesday, and EBITDA is our friend that works in investment banking. I think he's a VP now, so congratulations on the promotion. Works in investment banking at BAML or Bank of America Merrill Lynch. So we're going to hear from the Federal Reserve on Wednesday. Fed Chair Jerome Powell said that they are going to raise interest rates by 0.25 But there's also a lot of people that says we could get a surprise and have a 50 basis point increase. Hey, I see Storm Chaser. What's up? Hey, Mohammed is here. Says good evening from Malaysia. Good to see you, Mohammed. Welcome. Hey, WW says, what are the tangible benefits of networking? I don't feel like doing it enough. Well, there's an old saying, it's not what you know in this life, it's who you know. So if you make really good relationships with people and you do the right thing and you're kind and you help people out, usually you will have that behavior be reciprocated back to you. So it's always important to not only just be nice to people, but get to know them to the point where you could do business opportunities and business ventures with them. And when you do your first business deal with somebody, you want to make sure you really over-deliver. So under-promise and over-deliver, because if you're ever in a tight spot in life, which we all will be in a tight spot, they are willing to help you out. So that's what I would say. Yeah, EBITDA says it's not the grades you make, but rather the hands you shake. I think EBITDA put it a little bit better than than I did. Actually, a lot better than I did. Tina Toomey says, have friends to have your back. Agreed. Captain Coomer says, do you think there is a cutoff to getting into finance? Also, what would you recommend for a beginner? So I think the best books, are you talking about working in finance? I mean, if you want to go the traditional investment banking route, you know, chances are you do have to, well, your probability of success increases if you go to a target school. So if you go to like a top 50 school or an Ivy League, where you do like a summer analyst program at one of the major investment banks or something like that. But if you just want to get an overall financial literacy, I would start off by reading every single book by Peter Lynch. And Peter Lynch is the former portfolio manager that used to run the Fidelity Magellan Fund, which is one of the most successful mutual funds in history. And Peter Lynch, I think, has written 3 books now. One Up on Wall Street is my personal favorite. And if you want to get into more valuation metrics and things like that, I would read Seth Klarman's Margin of Safety. And Seth Klarman's Margin of Safety, I believe, was only printed about 2,000 copies. So if you want to buy an original Seth Klarman Margin of Safety book, it's going to cost you about $3,000. But there are a lot of free PDFs that you can download for free on the internet, and you can read Seth Klarman's Margin of Safety. Another one that we talk about all the time on the channel is a very well-known NYU professor at the Stern School of Business called Damodaran. So if you want to understand fundamental securities analysis, how to build a discounted cash flow model, and things like that, I would check out Damodaran, which is a professor of securities analysis at the New York University Stern School of Business. And he actually has a YouTube channel where he sometimes will post his lectures for free. So you could actually sit in on a free Stern Business School lecture and understand how to evaluate companies the appropriate way. So I would look into all of those resources for free online. Hey, Marty Lewis is here. Hey, Marty, how is everything in New York? Good to see you. Marty, it's been crazy weather here. So it's been really rainy, really windy. But supposedly it's supposed to stop rather soon. Laytha says the landscape is nice here. Yeah, this is Mary Brickell Village. Hey, Perry Kirby is here. Says every U.S. city creates ride-sharing agreements. I presume New York City has their own agreements. Interesting. Tito says, what tech skills would you recommend someone would learn if they are interested but don't want to pursue a career in it? So I would say just in your spare time, pick up a language that interests you. You know, you could learn to code on your own through free resources like codeacademy.com and the like. So I would say maybe start to build some interesting things in Python if you want. And there's a lot of free resources. You know, a lot of people think that you need to pay to do a lot of things, but with the internet, there's so much free knowledge on the internet. So I would create a free account on codeacademy.com, and I would pick a coding language and I would start to learn. And who knows, maybe you'll build your own products and services and sell them for a lot of money. Yeah, hey, Charlie Richardson is here. Hey, Charlie, good to see you, my friend. Charlie Richardson says, programming is powerful. Maury Lewis says, New York City weather has been good today. Sunshine in the mid-50s. Awesome. So now we are headed up outside of Mary Brickell Village, and we will walk around the Brickell City Center, which is a big outdoor mall. Wow, EBITDA says Tom Bam will change his name to B of A Securities. Wow. So EBITDA, when's the last time you were in downtown Miami? Hey, Gummy Bear says, I wanted to be a New York City baker, but I couldn't raise enough dough. Very funny. James Tiger says, I program in PHP, HTML, JavaScript. Fun stuff. Awesome. Love that, James. So, James, I'm going to ask you, since you probably know a lot more than me, so for people in the chat who want to pick up a programming language, what free resources would you recommend? You know, so lowest barrier to entry, what are the free resources for coding you would recommend? EBITDA says they changed the name in late summer of 2021. Copy that. Lucas says, are you in Manhattan? We are not. We are in Miami's Manhattan, which is a little bit different, maybe a little bit better weather. Good to see you, EBITDA. So this is South Miami Avenue. And we are about to pass the Lucid store. And just a quick reminder, everybody, I did not have enough time to get out the Behind the Street newsletter today, but I will send the newsletter out to everybody tomorrow. So if you're not signed up yet, it is the first link in the description of the video. So this is the Lucid Motor Store here in Brickell, Miami. EBITDA says, no, that was, oh, that's the last time you were in Miami for Art Basel. Very cool. Yeah, EBITDA, I was in Wynwood the other day, which was really nice. Hey, Ron says, hey, Tom, good to see you, Ron. Hey, Juan Rosales says, hey, everybody, please don't forget to hit the like button. Appreciate it. So these are my two favorite buildings in Brickell. Hey, Dogman says, Tom, Lucid technical setup looks like for a move to the downside. Yeah, a lot of those stocks that are no earnings or very little earnings, those stocks are getting hammered. So make sure you wait and watch for a follow-through day. So one of the things that's impressed me about Miami the most is just how clean everything is. Well, at least in downtown Miami and Brickell, everything is really, really clean. And today was actually my first day in the office down here, so I'm finally moved in. And I really like the office down here, so really nice. So this is the building where they have the KPMG, which is a major consulting company. EBITDA says, what are your thoughts on Teladoc? My ARK puts have been killing it. Yeah, I think ARK Innovation ETF actually just made another new low, EBITDA. So Teladoc, I completely just, anytime a stock cracks its 200-day moving average on extremely high volume, I just totally forget about it. I'm not a bottom fisher. You know, these stocks could go a lot lower. And I think a lot of people don't understand just how low some of these things can go. You know, you look at PayPal, you look at Teladoc. A lot of these things can get crushed. Warwalker's like, Tom, do you need a secretary? But I think Teladoc has a good product. I don't think I would ever buy the stock right now. Somebody says, do you have to wear a mask inside? I don't think so. I think they removed all of those restrictions. Arsenal Fan 13 says, Tom, would you recommend for somebody spending time in between two cities? I've been flirting with the idea for a while. Yeah, I think I would pick two cities. I think it's advantageous for everybody to have at least two main headquarters. Because if something goes down in one place, you have diversity to go somewhere else, especially if you're going to be acquiring lots of real estate, especially in the multifamily space. Lucas, maybe soon. Dogman says, do you trade on the short side at all? I personally don't, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do that. It's just I personally do not trade on the short side. Here's the show, everybody. This is KPMG, McKinsey & Company, and WeWork, all in this building. Phenomenal facilities here, by the way. Hey, the investigator says, walks in Wall Street. You chose the perfect choice. It should pay off soon. Yeah, and I think another reason why I like it down here is because there's a lot of very smart, like-minded people from all over the world. So I think for the networking opportunities, it'll be good as well. So supposedly, everybody, this is one of the oldest bars in the world, right? This view, Tom. Yeah, I think I posted it in the Discord. So if you guys want to check out or join our Discord for networking and other things like that, it is in the description of this video. Also, if you want to connect on Twitter, it is @WalksWallStreet. I tend to be the most active on Twitter because financial Twitter is extremely good resource. Hey, Elliott Wave Review, what's up? Says, experts recommend everybody obtain a second passport to truly diversify their assets and liabilities. I agree with that 1,000%, Elliott Wave. 1,000%. But here's the question, Elliott Wave Review. What other country would you want to live in? Hey, Marcus says hello from Long Island. Awesome, love Long Island. That's where I'm originally from too. So it's good to see you. The investigator says it's all about the networking. They close real estate deals through text in Miami. Hopefully we'll be closing some big deals in the tech space. So let's go to the second floor. I'll show you guys the view from the second floor. Hey, Paranormal Witness Girl, I know. So you know what, Paranormal Witness Girl, I noticed whenever the Russia-Ukraine situation happened, there's been a lot of live cameras on YouTube about, showing the situation. And there's a lot of bots and like trolls and things like that on there. Everything here is so clean, so immaculate, it's crazy. Hey, Bit of Wander is here, good to see a Bit of Wander. Alejandro says, hello, how about the weather? Beautiful walking around. So the weather was okay today. It wasn't the absolute best, but it was raining all day, but it is quite warm, which is good. So happy about that. But for those of you who are joining, we just briefly did a quick stock market recap. We were talking about the Federal Reserve. Also, we went into the housing market a little bit. But the main thing we need to watch is that Federal Reserve's balance sheet. So obviously, on Wednesday, we are going to hear from the Federal Reserve if they are going to raise interest rates. But I think more importantly, we need to be watching the Federal Reserve's balance sheet, because that is where they juice the market by buying mortgage-backed securities and U.S. Treasuries. And supposedly they're supposed to start to unwind that balance sheet, but I'm not sure if they're going to be successful in doing that. Check out this Tesla across the street. Elliott Wave Reviews says, Tom, you could buy Peru citizenship for $20,000 and own real estate in the beautiful Amazon. Wow. Bit of Wander says, sup, good to see you too. Hope you had a good Monday, Bit of Wander. Sabrina Fair is here. Good to see you, Sabrina. Mike S is Miami, has palm trees. Look up at New York, has scaffolding. So, I was in downtown Miami, which is about, I don't know, maybe a quarter mile north of here. And there's actually a lot of scaffolding there. I was really, really surprised. Obviously not as much as New York, to your point. Hey, Dogman says predicted 0.25 isn't going to be nearly enough. Yeah, Dogman, I don't even think, even if you raise it 5%, it's not going to be enough to do anything about inflation, because we've printed so much money. I think we've printed something along the lines of 70% of all dollars in existence. We did it in the last 8 months. So it's the money printing that's creating the inflation, in my view. I do not think it is the interest rates, because if you think about it, since 2008, we've had artificially low interest rates, and inflation was actually quite tame. It's the money printing. But what do you think about that, Dogman? Do you think it's the interest rates? Even if we raise interest rates, do you think that'll help? Or do you think it's more along the lines of just the money printing? I don't know. I'd be interested to see what you guys think about that. Hey, Eyeglass Lady is here. It says, good evening all. I saw something kind of wacky today. A Tesla on a flatbed tow truck. Oof. Maybe the battery ran out. Who knows? Hey, the one and only Clarence Jackson is here. It says, have you heard of Matthew Tuttle's SARK ETF, the anti-Cathie Wood? Yes, I did hear about that. So it moves inverse of Cathie Wood's ARK Innovation ETF. So Clarence, I did hear about that. But I think the ARK ETF made a new low. It made another low today. And that's what I've been trying to get through on the stream today is, look, stocks can go a lot lower than you think. So don't try to bottom fish in this environment. It is very, very risky to do that. Wait for a follow-through day if you're going to buy individual stocks. Dolly says, love outdoor malls. Cynthia Beal says, Tom, can you show the WeWork? Yes, I will show it. Hey, we have our pal Unlimited Stimulus, one of my favorite usernames on YouTube. Says it could be the money printing that started in 2008 that is finally starting to catch up. I think you're right. Kush has been an amazing restaurant. Paranormal Witness Girl says, I'm vibing through Miami tonight. Dogman says, Tom, the Fed's money printing since the pandemic was very short-sighted and did not set us up for long-term success. Completely agree. Yep, and I was a big critic, and you guys know me on the channel. I dish it out both sides. I try to be very fair. I tend to lean more conservative, but that's one of my biggest criticisms of Trump. He spent more money than anybody, and I think that is really disingenuous when you're trying to consider yourself a conservative, because conservatives don't spend money like crazy, but he spent so much money, and I think that's why we are experiencing this ridiculous inflation. But check out this. This is insane. I think this is brand new. I don't think we've seen this before on the show. Hey, Roy is here. What's up, Roy? BB says Sark is going to get crushed very soon, says BB. Yeah, maybe if we have a rotation back in. We're good to see you, BB. Hey, Cashmere Funk, the one and only, says just passing through. Tom, what's up? Nice to see the inside of the mall. Yeah, so this is Brickell City Center. Western Mass Dave says, Tom, you are a smart and fair man. Thank you, Western Mass Dave. So check out the roof here. Hey, Geta Monsunar says, good night, everybody. Cashmere Funk, it's good to see you, my friend. Mimi says, waiting for November 2022. Yeah, so WW actually makes a good point here. It says unfair for people to get angry at money printing but also accept their pandemic checks. Very good point. So over here we're gonna have an amazing view of the city. Yo, we have the one and only Action Kid here. What's up, man? AK, we just covered a ton of stuff on the channel. We were talking about unbelievable money printing. We were talking about be careful of buying stocks or bottom fishing because they could always go lower. Wednesday is the FOMC meeting and we are going to see if we are going to get a hike in interest rates. But Action Kid says the roof was designed to encourage airflow. Let's check it out. Yeah, it looks like it. Imagine if there is a, what's it called? Like a hurricane? So I think that's good design. But AK, one of the things about this place, and I know you've been here many times, it's so clean. Like everything is spotless here. Like there's not one piece of trash on the ground or anything. It's phenomenal here. Hey, Richard Mayhew is here, says what's up? The LJ Fighter, welcome, my friend. Emilio J says, anyone ever consider the Trump chocolate bar? Oh, I've never heard of that. He makes chocolate? I know he makes wine or something like that. Arsenal Fan 13 says, Tom, are you familiar with the developer Don Petals Corp? He's a DC developer who develops a portfolio in Miami. I am not. Maybe Action Kid is. Action Kid knows more about the developers and things like that than I do. But AK, hope you had a good day today, my friend. Rainy day today. This is one of my favorite views from the Brickell City Center. But just another quick reminder, if you guys are looking for the Behind the Street newsletter, I have not sent it out yet. It will be in your inbox tomorrow. So if you want a free financial newsletter written by myself, if you type !news, N-E-W-S, in the chat, the Nightbot will drop the link to the Behind the Street newsletter where we cover not only the US equity markets, we cover emerging markets as well. And commodities. And I am going to be doing a short write-up on the Chinese commercial paper market. I do see some things that could cause some concern in the Chinese commercial paper market. So feel free to look out for that. I should be able to send it out tomorrow night. Hey, Sunny Days is here. Welcome, Sunny Days. Hey, Sierra C says, I missed the stream. Glad I didn't. Good to see you, Sierra. NATO says, good evening, looks neat, good to see you. Dutchman says, Tom, when will you and AK collaborate? Soon. I'll see him soon. I think he's just asking trying to figure out a living situation, or potentially. Lady Sarita's here. Good to see you, Lady Sarita. We are here at Brickell City Center. I just realized that this was a Saks Fifth Avenue. I just realized that today. Piece of economic news that I'm really looking out for is on Friday, when the National Association of Realtors will be announcing how many home sales. Supposedly it's supposed to fall about 400,000 from last month, but then again, as we were talking about today, supply is a major issue. So there's virtually no supply on the market. You know, to give you an idea, in the most recent market where I bought, I just did a Zillow search and there's literally one house available for sale, only one. Kind of crazy. Nados's bubble. Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit earlier on the stream, NATO. I think the only other thing that I see is maybe the lending requirements are a little bit better now. Clarence Jackson says, did I hear someone say Don Petals? If so, he's the man. He's building the Affirmation Tower in New York City. Check it out. I'm going to screenshot that and check it out. Let me screenshot that, actually. So here is the Apple store where I went in here today to try to get an adapter for the headphone jack, but they still didn't have it in stock. Crazy. Hey, Jamie Massetti is here. Welcome. Good to see you, Jamie. So if you guys are enjoying the stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video as we make a right around here, and I'll show you the even better view from the second floor. And I think it's just starting to rain again because I see the floor is a little bit wet here. Latha's like they're still sold out. Wow, I know. You know what else is sold out that's kind of funny? Is Apple is selling a cleaning cloth for $30 that is totally sold out. Insane. Hey, Bit of Wander says everybody should just because honestly, it takes no effort. Joyce Phillips says, good night, Tom. I walked with Action Kid yesterday in the street food, lots of people. Yeah, I was there too. I was watching the stream too. Phenomenal stream. Sierra C says, Tom, any opinion on Tom Brady's so-called retirement? So supposedly he came out of retirement, which is pretty interesting. It seems like that guy can't get away from football. I mean, if there's a workaholic out there, I think it's Tom Brady. I think he is an unbelievable workaholic. Yeah, Alan Wilson says, Tom, your adapter is probably in a container in Long Beach. Yeah, somebody says $30 cloth. Sheesh, insane. Yeah, look it up. At Apple's last sort of event, that was one of their biggest announcements. They're like, yeah, we're going to make a cleaning cloth that's going to cost $30. Insane. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of comments in the chat about skilled labor. So if you are skilled in HVAC or electrical or really anything, I mean, you could pretty much guarantee yourself a job in this environment. You know, when we heard from the National Association of Home Builders, one of their biggest concerns going forward was not the cost of rising commodities prices. What it was is the shortage of skilled labor in the United States. They can't hire enough people to build all these homes. So if you're a skilled laborer, if you're an HVAC or an electrician, you could definitely have a job in this environment. I think this is my favorite view from here. Hey, Brian says, Tom, do you have an umbrella? I did. I finally brought it. Eyeglass Lady says, the cloth is probably just a microfiber cloth and nothing more. Yeah, could you imagine the gross margins on that? Probably pretty insane. So we will head out and we will walk over the bridge to downtown Miami, where we will get the train. I mean, not the train, the bus. Hey, Schwartz is here. Good to see you. Says, hey, Tom, how are you? I'm doing very, very well. Hope you were doing fantastic. Ryan's World says, which city do you like more, Miami or New York? I think I like them evenly. I would say during the winter, I probably like Miami a little bit more. But during the summer, I just missed the escalator. During the summer, I definitely like New York a little bit more. So I think it's the best of both worlds. Hey, Pixelogic is here. Says, hey, Tom, what's up, Pixelogic? Good to see you, my friend. I definitely like living in both cities, though. Hey, Jamie Massetti says, Tom, I'll be in Miami at the end of May. Can't wait. You're going to have a great time. Make sure you come to Brickell. Please do. I see my friend Pixelogic. What's up, my friend? Good to see you. And I see Fire Vids. It's probably the same margins as they make on the rest of their stuff. Yeah, Western Mass Dave says New York City equals train. I'm so accustomed to saying train. Fox Tech 106 is here. Says, hey, Tom, good to see you, my friend. Layla says, when you prefer the heat and humidity of July and August in New York City, you know how miserable Miami is. And so for me, I'm honestly not, I don't really mind the humidity, to be totally honest. I don't really care about it. I think we're locked in. Well, let's try to go out here. Hopefully the alarm won't start buzzing off. Nope, I think we're good. Hey, Daddy Boggs says, Tom, someone paid $518,000 for Brady's last TD, and now he's coming back. Ooh, could you? Oh my God, could you imagine how? I'd love to see the market going right on that. Hey Maria, thank you so much. So I like your content, and I've watched your streams before. When you were in New York, enjoying your Miami stream, California could use the rain. Well, thank you everybody that's joining us from California. Appreciate it. We have a lot of Miami police out here tonight. Hey, and we have my friend Lena Sandoval. That thing just gave me a mini heart attack. That thing gave me a mini heart attack. CRC says, great job on your review account. Just sign up for the newsletter. Hey, CRC, thank you. So everybody, I think we have about 680 people now that are signed up to read the Behind the Street newsletter. So thank you. I appreciate everybody reading the newsletter, and hopefully you are finding value out of it. So I appreciate it. Hey, Anthony is here. Says, hey, Tom from Eugene, Oregon. Love that. Nick Rock says, talk about depreciation, paying over $500,000 for a retiree's football, and comes out of retirement 40 days later. Yikes. I know. Isn't that crazy? How much do you, I mean, or this could be like a contrarian trade here, and maybe that football will trade for higher levels than his real retirement one. You know, you could say this was his fake retirement football, and it actually trades for higher. Who knows? Hey, Community Canner says, I'm also from Oregon. Awesome. All right, so we will head back. Play this like your Tesla has arrived. Faith says, funny, Tom, 26 and a mini heart attack. Hey, Trevor says, what's up? Jacksonville, Florida. Love Jacksonville. I was working on a big deal out of Jacksonville, Florida, but unfortunately, I did lose that deal. And a company by the name of CDW won the deal, but can't win them all. Lori E. Hey, what's up, Lori? Good to see you. Hey, Trevor says, Jacksonville, Florida here. Good to see you, my friend. How's Southern Florida? I'm really liking Southern Florida so far. Really, really liking it. One of the things I've noticed about Miami is so much construction. You see cranes almost everywhere. It's starting to look like New York City with all the cranes going up everywhere. Kind of crazy. Hey, Grant Link, the one and only. What's up, Grant? Good to see you. So we will cross the street and then we will walk over the bridge. Hopefully we can see some really nice yachts if they didn't already go away. So I'm not sure what this town over here is called. Is Miami south of New York City? It is. Hey, Karina Thompson is here. Oh, the wind is picking up. Hey, Tom AK. Good to see you, Tom. So here is an amazing view of the brand new building. This is the Aston Martin building that will be complete later this year. This is an extremely expensive luxury apartment building that is right next to the Wells Fargo building here. Brad's Brains says, yo, Tom stepped away. You probably already said it, but has the newsletter been sent? The newsletter has not been sent. I couldn't get it out the door today because I was so slammed with work. But I will get it out tomorrow. It will be sent out after the market close on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. It was just a crazy day at work, so I did not have time to click send. Hey, we have the Mighty Bull here. Good to see you, Mighty Bull. Says watching, listening, and thinking. What's up, Mighty Bull? Hey, Jesse says, hey, that's Seattle weather. Yeah, I mean, it's been misty all day today, but at least it's been warm. So if you look straight ahead, everybody, you'll see the W Hotel, which is a very luxurious hotel here in Miami. And I think it's also the Icon Residences. This looks like a smoothie spot or something. Well, check out the National Bank building here. City National Bank building looks crazy from here. Hey, Karina L. Serrano says hello. Good to see you, Karina. Samantha R says, did it rain during today's stream? It rained a little bit, on and off, for sure. Arsenal fan says, Tom, isn't there going to be a Bentley Tower? There will, but that is going to be north of here in Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. So that will be in Sunny Isles Beach. I think there's already the Porsche design building in Sunny Isles Beach. Bernie Williams, thank you so much, my friend. Nick Rock says, how was your trip to Philly? I didn't go to Philly yet. I'm going to be there the last week of this month. So I'm going to be flying back to New York late next week. And then I will be taking the Amtrak train to Philly. And I haven't been to Philly, so I'm actually pretty excited about it, to be honest. But Nick Rock's good to see you. Marie says, I always wondered why banks have those very large skyscrapers. It's because they lend out a lot of money. They lend out a lot of money at interest rates, and we subsidize all of it. All right, so we're gonna walk across the bridge here, in which case it'll take us to the bus. Trevor says, do you like New York City more or Miami? Both I like the same. Sea-Peace is always a cool show, thank you, and it is windy tonight too. Hey, Johns is just joining in, good to see you, John. Hey, Trevor says, I'm staying in the Icon Residences penthouse. You're killing with all the streams in Brickell. Hey, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy. So I'll give you another shot where you're staying right here. So check it out. Hey, Solo 401, what's up? Solo 401 says, hit the like button before you leave. Appreciate it, Solo. Hope everybody had a good Monday today. Hey, Beats by Travis Ray says, hello from Canada. Love the views, amazing quality, and audio is perfect. Keep up the good work, man. Hey, thank you, Beats. Thank you for joining, and hopefully we see you on more live streams in the future. We have a lot of Canadian viewers on the stream, so I appreciate it. All right, so now we are headed towards downtown Miami. Brad's Brains' newsletter out today? No, it'll be out tomorrow. It'll be out tomorrow. Hey, Marilyn is here. It says hello from Murray Hill. Please hit the like button. Good to see you, Marilyn from Murray Hill. Beautiful neighborhood in New York, by the way. Yeah, Lady Sarita says, Tom, Monday went well, even being that we had a huge severe storm. The Charlie Roll will be back soon. Surprised at all the traffic at this time of night. Hey, Samantha R says, Tom, do you see more Teslas in Miami or New York? I think I see more Teslas here in Miami. Brad's Brain, no problem. So here is the City National Bank building again. Lady Sarita says lots of Teslas in that area. Hey, Lori E says, I'm visiting my brother. Beautiful near there, 70 here in Mississippi River. Plus gas is $1 cheaper a gallon. Wow. John says, where are all the people in lockdown? No, this is, I think it's like 11 o'clock at night. So there's very few people walking around at 11 o'clock at night in downtown Miami. There tends to be a lot more office buildings here. But here, I'll give you guys one more look of the Aston Martin building here, which should be complete soon. And then we have Deloitte, as well as Wells Fargo. So we're about to pass the Whole Foods in downtown Miami. John says looks like a comb in the building. Supposedly there's a very rare car in the lobby of that building, but it's all roped off so we can't see it. So hopefully construction will hurry up and finish soon so we can check it out, hopefully. But here we are at the Whole Foods. Whole Foods Market here. I think it's open till about 11 o'clock at night. Lady Sarita says, I want to visit the Aston Martin and Astoria are finished. Or once they are finished. So this is Southeast 3rd Avenue. This is the Metro movie that's going by. Latha, thank you for joining. We will end it up here once I get the bus. So I appreciate everybody joining tonight. Let's see if we can cross safely under the Metro Mover. So speaking of the lockdowns though, supposedly China is locking down 15 million people, which is not a good look. And I think this is why we're seeing a lot of the American depository receipts or Chinese ADRs really selling off, because China's going into a lockdown over the new COVID variant. But I mean, in my opinion, I don't see how we can continue to do this. I don't see how we can continue just to lock down the world. At some point, we're going to need to figure out a more relevant solution. But we'll play it by ear. But a lot of those Chinese stocks have been getting hammered. You talk about Alibaba, JD. These things have been getting walloped. Yeah, Latha says China is going on a massive lockdown. Not good. Agreed. Santos says good night, Tom, and everybody. Good to see you. John, what's up? Hey, Disney, good to see you, my friend. Clarence Jackson says I was going to buy Neo, but I stayed away. Yeah, a lot of the Chinese equities come with added risk, not only with the lockdowns, but regulatory scrutiny as well. All right, we'll see if we can cross the street. All right, but everybody, we will wrap it up. We will call it a night, but I appreciate everybody joining. Thank you, as always, for joining the streams, all of our moderators. If you enjoyed the stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video. We will have the Behind the Street newsletter emailed to everybody by tomorrow when the market closes. So if you haven't signed up for that yet, it is the first link in the description of this video where we will send that out tomorrow. So Eyeglass Lady, Michelle Henry, everybody, thank you so much for joining tonight. All of our moderators, and to the Mighty Bull, have a good night wherever you are, because there is always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look, and I'll see everybody right back here tomorrow. Like the video, subscribe, and enjoy your Tuesday and make it a great week. Thanks, everybody.